So on the line with us now is Dany Shaw, consummate journalist and university professor who shed some light on the recent developments surrounding the crisis in the Donbass region. Hi, Mr. Shaw, can you hear me?
Greetings to teleSUR. Thank you for the work you do.
I would like to already focus on the main issue. Many are familiar with the phrase that says politics are the concentrated expression of the economy. Now, my question is regarding this, the whole narrative of the Russian invasion and Ukraine that the big media outlets have been raving about coincides with the rise of gas prices in the European market. How does the Nord Stream 2 pipeline influence the attitude the United States have assumed in these events?
Those are the very headlines that we're hearing all day, every day from CNN and Fox News and the New York Times and the Financial Times, that this is all Russia's fault and the big boogeyman, Putin. They've attempted to decontextualize everything from 2014 until now. Of course, it's the United States with their primary militaristic arm, NATO, that has continued to encroach upon Russia's borders and enveloped countries that were formerly part of the Soviet bloc and the Warsaw Pact, such as Latvia, Lithuania, and now they want to set up more and more military installations, bases, and NATO soldiers in Ukraine, which comes as a direct threat to Russia's geopolitical and economic interests. So Russia is doing nothing more than defending its own interests in these two different eastern Ukrainian provinces, which have a linguistic and historical ties to Russia.
We just saw Biden announcing sanctions against Russia precisely. Moscow already warned they are ready to counter any measures that the United States and its European allies implement. Who stands to lose the most in this tug of war?
Well, we see Nord Stream 2, this massive pipeline that was going to connect Russia directly to the European Union as an outlet for these massive oil and gas reserves. There's over 100 billion European euros involved in this project, 12 different companies involved based out of Europe. So all of Europe is losing. The U.S. is afraid of Europe Russia integration. They're afraid of any manifestation of multipolar economic and diplomatic integration that excludes them. War in Europe, who's going to gain? The U.S. is going to gain, just like World War II and World War I. They have the Atlantic Ocean to defend them. And it's the Ukrainian people, 14,000 who have already perished in this new Cold War conflict since 2014. The people of Donbass, the people of this region of eastern Ukraine have spoken that they don't want to be part of Kiev. They don't identify with the regime in Kiev that's a product of this 2014 Maidan counter-revolution coup. They don't identify with NATO and U.S. interests. So they have remained doggedly stubborn in insisting upon having their own true sovereign development.
That's what we want to talk to you about now. Donetsk and Luhansk have been the epicenter of this geopolitical conflict. The reports of Ukrainian government forces increased shelling of the territories and their recognition as republics by the Russian Federation. What does this mean for the political balance in the region?
Well, that's just it. The United States will never report on the everyday suffering of the Ukrainians in the east and of the steadfast resistance. They're saying now that Russian troops are pouring into Ukraine, decontextualizing what is happening. Of course, it's the Ukrainian people that are going to suffer the most, specifically in these sovereign regions. The U.S. has done everything to build up their lackeys in Kiev to do their bidding. Since Victoria Nuland and John McCain and other warmongers first went to Kiev during the Maidan counter-revolution in 2014. And this is what they want. Wall Street, the Pentagon, with their almost $800 billion budget, they want this war. The U.S. war economy, the Pentagon, these warmongers, they need wars, they need enemies like the human lungs need oxygen. So they'll stop at nothing, as we've seen. They continue to be in war drive.
Well, thank you for your insight, Mr. Shaw.